Hi guys, um, I thought I would read you that little explanation I did in my previous video about on the deriving the formula using the quadratic equations because I felt like I went a bit fast, so some of you might not understand. So I'm gonna read you this lesson, and I'm going to be very slow, right? So you can follow how we derive the formula, okay? So let's start. So what we're trying to do here, we deriving the formula used in finding the roots in a quadratic equation, okay? So we know we have three methods of finding the roots. The first one was factorization, and the second one was completing the square, and the third one was the use of the formula. So what's the formula for this equation? Like where you have ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. The solution to that is x is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac the whole lot divided by 2a. That's the formula that we need to learn and used in finding the roots of a quadratic equation. Okay, so now I'm trying to explain to you how we arrive at this part, minus b plus or minus the root of b squared, etc., etc. Okay, so how do we derive this? The method we use to derive this actually is using the completing the square method. That's the only way I can use to show you how to derive this formula. Okay, so let me underline this bit here. So this is the method we're going to use to derive this formula here. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so I will start with writing my formula. This is my quadratic equation. So by using the completing the square method, what we normally do, step 1, move the constant c on the right hand side. Okay, so this is what I mean, move it here. When I do that, I will have this. All right, so I'm getting rid of my constant. That's the step 1. Step 2, if you remember well, I told you that we cannot, in using the completing the square method, we cannot have a coefficient for x squared. We have to get rid of it. So let's get rid of the coefficient of a. Oh, sorry, not a, of x squared, which is a in this case, right? So how are we going to get rid of this? Very simple. So we will divide by a on both, remember, on both sides of the equation. All right, so this is what we will have now. There you go. I divide a both sides, I divide by a on both sides of the equation. Right, what is next? What's step 3? So step 3, now we have a normal simple equation now for using the completing the square method. Step 3, we divide the coefficient of x by 2 and square it. Okay, so what will that be? Let me use a different color. So we will have b over a divided by 2, b over 2a. Then this is the first part. The next, I will square it. Then it will become b squared over 4a. Right? Step 4, add the result you found in step 3 on both sides of the equation. Alright, so what will happen? We will have this now. Sorry, what you will notice is when you divide this a divided by a here, it cancels out, right? So we'll be left with a very simple equation now. That would be x squared x is equal to, right? So that will be b over a, all right, plus what? Plus this b squared over 4a squared. Sorry, I missed the square here, right? Did you see I missed this square here? B squared, when I square it, is 4a squared, and this will be equal to, I'll use the same color now, minus c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. Yeah, that's my step 4. I add the result which I found in step 3 on both sides of the equation. Okay, you know what, I'll change that. It's confusing because when you're gonna read it, watch the video again, you might get confused. I'll do it that way, right? Sorry about that. So minus c over a. Right. We started with a general formula. Then we have a second. We're manipulating the formula. We're playing with the formula. We're moving things around. Okay, and we're doing some operations on it. Okay, so this is the third formula now. Now we're going to simplify this third equation here. Okay, I'll do that on the next slide. 1 second. Right, so this is how the formula was on the previous slide. So what I'm going to do now, looking at this, right, I'm going to simplify this part here. So I'll simplify the right hand side of the equation. Okay, so what do we have here? Minus c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. These are just two normal fractions. My LCM would be 4a squared. I'm not going to show you how to do LCM now. You should have done that in year 3 in primary. So what we got here, we will have minus 4ac, 4 squared divided by a multiplied by c is equal to minus 4ac, plus 4 squared divided by 4 squared is 1, multiplied by b squared is b squared here, right? And if I rearrange this bit, it's going to be like b squared minus 4ac divided by 4a squared. You can see already, this is the part of the formula. All right, cool. So that's it. Now let's go to rewriting this formula. X squared plus bx over a plus b squared over 4a squared is equal to b squared minus 4ac divided by 4a squared. Now, if you had listened to the earlier lessons, you would know that this whole equation here can be simplified into just what? Into x plus b over 2a to the square, right, is equal to b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. You would know that if you understood the earlier lessons. Why did I say, you might be confused, b over 2a, where is that coming from? But it's coming here. Is that b divided by 2a, if I square it, that will be equal to the b squared over the 4a squared. Okay? It's coming from there. The x is coming, of course, from here, right? We know that from earlier lessons we watched, all right? So now I'm left with this now. X plus b over 2a to the square is equal to b squared minus 4ac divided by 4a squared. Right? Right. So if x plus b over 2a to the square is equal to b squared minus 4ac over 4 squared, therefore, let me write this down here. Step 5, square root left hand side. Okay, so I will have, what is the left hand side of the equation is this bit, alright, this part. So it will be x plus b over 2a is equal to plus or minus the square root of this, right? B squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. X will be equal to, I'll rather write it down here, step 6. No. Make X subject of formula. Okay, make X subject of formula. The subject of formula would be X is equal to what? Would be minus B over 2A plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC divided by 4A squared. Right? So that's 6 here. So this equation, right? Now it's been transformed into X is equal to minus B over 2A plus or minus root of B squared minus 4AC over 4A squared. Okay. Now let us simplify this bit here. I think I can rewrite this whole equation like this: b squared minus 4ac divided by the square root of 4a squared. Can't I? Yeah, this is the same, right? This part here, I can rewrite it in that format, right? So if I try and simplify it further, that's going to be rewritten in like 2a, because the square root of 4 squared is 2a. So I simplify my equation. X is equal to, I know I would be short of a space, so let me make it smaller. X will be equal to minus b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Hang on, we got same denominator here. Therefore, my equation would be like this. This is my value of x. Finally, and what is this? This is the formula that we use in finding the roots of a quadratic equation. Okay, there's a lot of algebra there, there's a lot of a, b, c, x, y, z, whatever, right? But it's really simple if you take it step by step and try to understand how these variables are moving around in that equation. It shouldn't be that difficult to understand. Alright guys, thank you so much. I hope this time you understand very clearly how this equation, this general equation, has been derived from the completing the square method. Okay, alright, thank you. Goodbye now.